And we're live. Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your other host, Shorty. And today we're going to be reviewing Absolution, which certainly isn't just ripping off Blade Runner. And I don't know why anyone would ever think that. But it kind of, that image on the comic cover was probably one of the reasons why I didn't really go heavy on this one when I was ordering it from my store. I enjoyed the people involved in it, but this one didn't speak. I'm going to say people involved in it. I mean, Mike Deodato Jr. as the artist, and I'm going to say straight off the bat, his artwork is absolutely brilliant in this one. It is the same as it is in almost everything else everything else he's done for AWA. He has a great knack for doing a kind of photorealism, which for other artists would just mean a prolonged trip to Uncanny Valley. And he also does really good action sequences. He plays around with form quite nicely. Has same sequences run through multiple panels as one single bit of artwork, which allows him to show action exploding out from where it's intended, and he can use reverse imaging on different pages. He's basically really good at what he does, and this is him at the top of his game. Excellent work throughout. But it's the writing point we talk about a little more. It's Peter Milligan, and I've done some other stuff. I've reviewed some other stuff by him, including AWA things, and he has a bit of a tendency to go for neo-noir, near-future, cyberpunk-esque kind of stories, and they're always fun. I always like them because of what else they can do as well as just being cyberpunk stories. This is a story of a mass murderer, hit woman for hire, who basically gets caught, and instead of just getting the lethal injection or a very prolonged lethal death from pills, they find out during a brain scan that she has lesions on her brain, which actually totally explain why she was a killer, and basically put it in a position where it's not really her fault from percent. She was born with these abnormalities, and as such, she's given a chance to get Absolution, which works as an online thing. She basically gets Suicide Squad bombs in her brain, and online software, which basically means anyone can watch a live feed of what she's doing. And she basically goes out, and instead of doing her own violence to state-sanctioned violence, because state has a monopoly on violence, and people watch it and they can vote on whether or not she deserves absolution, otherwise she will just die. But there's a lot of things going on with this story that I quite like. The idea of the state having a monopoly on violence and punishing those who try to go outside of it. This trial by social media, which basically removes any need for trials and juries and experts on criminology or psychology and like that, and instead just goes to who can make the best kills and who's going to appeal to the mass market quite so much. But weirdly, the thing that stuck in my mind is because it bugged me a little bit at first. Not even that long ago, I was talking about an idea of removing any kind of real world idea about why criminality happens or why corporations do criminal things by hand-waving sci-fi reasons. And sometimes I'm fine with this when it's not like a really major plot point. If you've ever seen the movie or read the book The Martian, you'll know that for all the really good real-world science that's in there, there's also the fact that the wind on Mars, at the speed it was going with the atmosphere than it was, wouldn't do the damage necessary to the map, or the risk of damage necessary to the map. So the entire plot wouldn't happen. And we just accepted this and was like, yeah, but I need this to happen for the plot, so this is what's going to happen. Live with it. But sometimes you talk about it in ways of actually changing motivation for huge things that happen. The Chip Zdarsky one of just having people doing crimes repeatedly, guilty recidivism, as because they've been gassed with some toxic thing which makes them more likely to commit crimes. And it removes this idea of why are they actually committing crimes? And in this, it kind of struck the same thing of oh yeah, but now we have this ability to just look at people and say, well, they're not as guilty as everyone else because they have an actual biological reason why they're committing crimes. We don't have to look then at the actual socioeconomic and political reasons why people do commit crime. And it stuck in my head because it's that is not how the world works. It's certainly not how I would like it to work. But it stayed in my head long enough that I started thinking about it in terms of a cyberpunk story. Which is the idea that in these stories, government and corporations control so much, and they want to maintain primacy, political and economic, so they will do anything they can to basically fracture lower orders and scapegoat. Means testing and the idea of worthy poor, all this kind of thing plays very much into it. And I like the idea that in this world, somebody had the decision that, yeah, there's all these people doing horrible crimes. We want to be able to keep screwing these people over. But if we gave a sympathetic figure point to a few people and make it into entertainment, a TV show, a live stream, then maybe we can stop people concentrating on why the vast majority of people do crime and instead just look at these few people that we can then make entertainment out of. Now, am I saying this is exactly what Deodato and Milligan were going for? No, I don't know what they were going for, but I like any art that allows interpretation. I like something where it dangles threads and allows you to pick the ones that seem important, and you can play around with them in your own head and create the canon, which makes a story more entertaining for you. Yes, I think there is such a thing as actual quality, and I don't think all art is purely subjective, but the stuff that allows you to play around with it in your own head is the better ones. They are better at doing it. I like this kind of thing, and I hope that anyone who's reading it can actually enjoy it on their own terms as well, rather than being a simplistic story by the numbers with one-dimensional characters. This gives you something to argue with yourself about. Are these people worthy of more pity? Are they worthy of more sympathy? Is the world good for doing this? Is it bad for doing this? And these are the kind of stories which good sci-fi should make you ask. And this is good sci-fi. That's it for me today. I'll come back tomorrow, though, with one more review for the week. Not sure 100% what it's going to be yet. I've got a few options left, but I'm sure I'll have fun with it. Until then, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.